Yeah? You think you're perfect? Disorderland, I have missed you guys. It's totally my fault, but I have missed you just the same. I just want to say a big final thank you to my guests from my last round of videos. I apologize to everyone if the videos were full of sound issues and visual issues and technical issues, but I learned a bunch of stuff when I was making those, and I got some new equipment, and so future interviews should go a little bit smoother. But thank you to my guests, and thanks for their patience, and thank you, my audience, for your understanding. I keep promising no more long intros, so we're cannonballing right into today's topic. Cannonball! What separates people with high standards from those that are anal? What separates those that are anal from perfectionists? And where do you land in all of this? Perfectionism, perfectionist, perfection, all words that have been tossed around on this channel a lot, and all words that have become synonymous with OCPD. But do they work? Are they applicable? I don't really think so. Not anymore anyway. That's how we get to today's video. We all know that our primary goal with this channel is to raise awareness of OCPD. It would seem to me that this is going to be a difficult task if we aren't describing OCPD accurately. Let me explain. But before I do that, I'm going to go full YouTube. It has come to my attention that if I want my videos to show up in search results, which I do, YouTube has some things that I need to request from you. So before we continue, I am going to need you guys to destroy that like button, make sure to hit subscribe, and click the notification bell. Now that we have all of that super duper cheesiness out of the way, we can get back to the topic. I want people to find this content in order to encourage them to continue to delve into OCPD if that is indeed what they are suffering with. Knowledge is not just power, it's a path to healing, but it's bothered me for a long time that perfectionist has been used as this catch-all term to describe someone with OCPD. I'm going to exclude myself from this next description, so not to stroke my own ego, but anecdotally it would appear to me that many people that fall under the OCPD umbrella are of above average intelligence. That's just an observation, but the point that I'm getting at is that people with OCPD know that perfection doesn't exist. We know that we can't attain perfection, and wouldn't it make us look a little foolish if we spend all of our time chasing around a fictional concept? So in order to help more people identify with OCPD, I thought it important to make this distinction. I'd like you to be able to get the help that you need if you indeed need it. I won't argue the merit, at least not in this video, of chasing after make-believe.
Let's see what's going on in the neighborhood of make-believe.
However, that isn't an accurate description of what we with OCPD do anyway. You see, what we're after isn't actually perfection. What we are after exists, it's real, and that's kind of the problem. OCPD forces you into this position of having the highest standards out of all of the disorders, super duper high with a cherry on top. I like to use the example of a clean floor. It works for the illustration, and it also works for me because this is how I actually used to be. So I used to have this incredibly high standard for how clean any of my floors used to be. Some might even want to call it perfection, and I'll take the compliment if you want to do that. However, we both know that it can't actually be perfectly clean. There are invisible germs, viruses, mold, mildew, and bacteria. I know that. I'm not stupid.
Are you though?
That's what I'm saying.
But to the naked eye, I could get that floor pretty darn sparkly. Now, here comes the trouble. In order to keep the floor clean, I couldn't have guests. I had to clean it all the time. I couldn't open a window. Forget about pets or kids. It was draining, time-consuming, and stressful. Here's the point of this video. People with OCPD have incredibly high standards that are completely attainable, but at the same time, they are completely unsustainable, without severe disruption to their lives at least. We aren't trying to be perfect, we are just trying to sustain ridiculously high standards at the cost of everything else in our life. And what makes each of us with OCPD different is that the parts of our lives that we need to sustain are different. For me, it might be floors or my winning smile. For you, it might be your grades or your cupboards or your hygiene. It doesn't really matter though because it's ruining our lives. So let's all agree to get some help so that we can move on to what's really important in life, the people that we love. Welcome to a new segment in my videos. I have tried and failed on my last few videos to describe simply what this is, but now that I'm working from a script, I should be able to nail it. You guys write in an anonymous question to rawreactions@ocpd.org, and I give you an off-the-cuff response. And if you recognize your question in one of my videos, you can follow up with me via email. And if you want, I'll send you out a copy of one of my books on an OCPD-related topic. Okay, I think we got there now. So let's get on to today's question. Okay, so my light just went out and I have lost battery power today. It's been an absolute disaster trying to film this today. In fact, I've been super backlit for this whole video. Totally aware of it. I apologize. Anyway, my light's gone out, so if you can't see me, tough, this is the end of the video, and that's kind of how I feel at the moment. But I do want to do this new segment, so I am going to pick an email here. And so I'm going to go into my inbox, and we're going to grab a random email. I'm not going to give away who the emails are from, obviously. Okay, so I've got an email here, and it's a little bit long, so I might paraphrase this. Hello, my boyfriend wouldn't come over my house. I always had to go to his house until I broke my wrist. Sorry to hear that you broke your wrist. And now I have a cast and cannot drive. Now, he makes time to come to my house, but he seems to need a reason, all caps, to come here other than hanging out with me, such as fixing something in my house. He's a carpenter, or having to do something while here. And then we continue. He says he loves me. He's been very rigid before I broke my wrist about not coming to my house. What do you think about this? Even when I asked him to come over before I broke my wrist to fix something, he wouldn't come. He comes now because I literally cannot go to his house myself. I can't drive. Okay, so I noticed that you asked me what I think about it. I think you're asking, what do I think about the fact that he won't come to your house? That's not a standard situation in a healthy relationship. The fact that he wants you to come over to his house, he's not willing to come over to yours. You haven't given me any good reason why he's unable to go to your house. So yeah, that's weird. I'll give you that. It's weird. But I would also assume that if you're writing me, that you're trying to stay and maintain this relationship, stay in and maintain this relationship. So you don't mention anything about your communication style, how you're communicating with your boyfriend. So my suggestion would be, I don't know if you asked for it, but my suggestion would be that you explain to him explicitly what he's doing that's making you feel maybe unwanted or uncared for or uncomfortable in the relationship. Explain what it is specifically, and then explain how that's making you feel. And then maybe you guys can have a discussion about things that could be done to accommodate both of you in the relationship. Hopefully that is the answer you were looking for, or it's in the ballpark. As always, I'm still Daryl, and this is still My Life in Debris, and I will see you all next time.